Take a moment to close your eyes and imagine. You're finally getting a chance to see your favorite music artist live. The singer is announced and the crowd is pumped. Everyone is jumping and screaming with excitement, but something feels wrong. The singer gets onto the stage and suddenly your ribs are being crushed from every side. Someone's arm is hitting you in the neck. You're trying to breathe, but you can't. You look around desperately, but the group you were with seems to have disappeared into the chaos. The screams are no longer of excitement, but rather fear and confusion. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Elephant Podcast. What you just experienced was exactly what Nara Goods and thousands others went through at the 2021 Astroworld concert. I'm sure that most of you have at least heard of the travesty of the Travis Scott concert back in early November, but for those who haven't heard or don't know what happened, the basics of it are that during Travis Scott's performance at the Astroworld Festival this last year, there was a crowd surge with more than 50,000 people. This caused a phenomenon known as crowd crushing. It resulted in 8 deaths, many injured, and more to die in hospitals from said injuries. This is a horrible thing, and sadly, not new is this term, known as crowd crushing. First of all, my dear listeners, I'm sure that a good amount of you have not gone down a rabbit hole of definitions, so let's go over what exactly crowd crush is. Now, there's a few different places you can look for a definition. Some are longer than others. I'm looking at you, Wikipedia, with your 4 paragraphs. But all in all, they basically translate to a crowd crush being a densely packed group of people that are so packed together that they start to suffocate. Oftentimes, the crush is a result of a human stampede, which is where a ton of people start to running for their lives in single directions. They might start running out of fear, desperation, or a really good Black Friday sale. No matter how it started, it tends to end with the combined force of everyone pressing into each other, which leads to death through compressive asphyxiation, which is a long word that basically means squished to death. Not fun. Now, if you're anything like me, then you probably want to know how to know a crowd crush is about to happen, or what to do if you end up caught in one. Well, first of all, the surefire way of never succumbing to a crowd crush, to never even end up in one, would be to never get in a crowd, ever. In fact, just don't go outside. Okay, as amazing as that sounds, we sadly don't live in that kind of utopia. It would just be a tad bit difficult to never run into a crowd, even impossible for most. So, I guess the best you can do is take preventive measures when you are in a crowd. So, I was looking around at different articles on how to survive crowd crush, and a lot of them tended to have relatively similar points, so I've gone through and summarized the more reoccurring ones for you all. So, let's go. You see, crowd crushes have a tendency to be subtle, or even go completely unnoticed until it's too late. But a fairly good way of telling when it's getting really bad is if you can feel people touching and or pushing you in several places on your body at the same time. At this point, the density is starting to reach a danger point. If you still have time and can move, get away. If you can't get out, get ready to go with the crowd and try not to die. The point where you really can't go is when all of the exits are being blocked by the general flow of people. Going against them is like swimming against a river's current, pointlessly dangerous. Now let's say you're in a large room during a crowd crush, and the only exit is blocked by too many people trying to leave at once. You may think that the safest place has to be near the wall at the edge of the crowd. After all, if you're against the wall, then you only have people crushing you from one side rather than both, right? Wrong. You're just putting yourself between an unstoppable force and an immovable object. At least the crowd tends to go in relatively the same direction, so you can flow with it. You can't flow with the wall on one side whilst getting pushed around by tons of people on the other. On the point of going with the flow, it should be mentioned that just like how the panic of one person can spread through a crowd, so can hope and kindness. Okay, I know. Friendship is magic, that's so cringy. Hear me out. Humans are very much empathetic creatures, which means we tend to copy people around us, especially when it comes to emotion. Tons of crowd crushes have started with one simple scream causing a panic. So if you're capable, it might be a good idea to help someone else from getting stomped. Create an alliance with the people around you, because when one person helps, it gives hope, and others can spread that hope by spreading the kindness to even more. So yeah, basically, friendship is magic, and honestly, if it takes magical friendship to get out of a crowd crush alive, then call me Twilight Sparkle, because I want to live. Okay, but all of this, I have to think, can one person really make a difference in a crowd of 50,000? Probably not, but that's where you all come in. Yes, you, my dear listener. If you can spread the word of the dangers and cautious measures rather than letting this whole thing be forgotten as a freak accident, we could make this new post-ish COVID age of crowds safer than ever before. That's all for now. Thank you for listening to me on this fine day. Elephant Podcast, signing out.